Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing my very first Halloween card ever, since I am creating cards in my free time because I won this amazing Halloween stamp set from Avery Elle. I talked about the giveaway in my previous video as well. So far I didn't own any Halloween stamp because I'm not really celebrating Halloween, so that was a way of avoiding spending even more money to Halloween stamps as well. But when I saw this one in the sneak peeks, I just fell in love with it. It's the Boo to You from Avery Elle. And for my very first card, I am actually going to use the inside of this pumpkin to create my background. So I need to cut the inside out, and this is Inkadinkado stamping mask paper. So I'm just cutting the inside out, and then later on I will use it as sort of a stencil to ink blend my background. Because I'm going to ink blend my background, I need to first add my critters, because I don't own the dies yet, so the giveaway was only the stamps, and so far my shop hasn't got the dies. So I'm waiting and trying to figure out ways of creating cards without having dies. So because of the ink blending that I'm going to do, I need to make a mask for the cat and the kettle as well. So I'm also stamping that out on the Inkadinkado stamping mask paper, and then I can place this on top of the images and just ink blend away without any trouble. I was also contemplating whether I was going to stamp out the grounding or whether I was going to blend it. And in the end I will ink blend it, but I'm going to stamp the grounding first on the masking paper as well. There is some sort of a line in this stamp set which represents some grounding that you can use. So that's what I use to stamp it out, and then I also cut it. So here I decided to keep my panel inside of my Misty to help me with the placement of this huge mask. I trimmed this masking paper to an A2 size, so it fitted perfectly. And now I'm going to stamp out that grounding, also cut it out, and then I can start ink blending. When you have some grounding, reserve that other piece for above it. When you want to ink blend your grounding as well, you can then use that other piece to mask off the rest of your background. So for this card I decided to use some purples in the back, and I'm starting with the very light purple grade, and then I'm just adding more and more. This paper that I'm using is Neenah, so I'm starting really lightly because it's not that forgiving as, for example, Strathmore Bristol Smooth, but because I'm going to color with my Copics, this was the paper that I needed to take. And I'm just going back and forth, darkening the sky, changing the pressure on my brushes, and I'm also adding a bit of black on the top of the sky. So now that the sky is blended, I am going to add some white gouache. This one is from Winsor and Newton, and I'm really glad I have this one. Quality is amazing, so I can only recommend it. I added a bit of water, and now I'm splattering this on the back to create a starry night sky scene. And once that's dry, I can now start on blending the grounding. So as you can see here, I have taken that leftover piece and I'm just puzzling it next to the mask for the sky. And now I'm going to ink blend a bit of weathered wood on the bottom. And once that's finished, I can peel off all the masks. I will reserve some of them for later cards. That's always really handy because nobody likes to fussy cut. So if you can reserve them, do so, and then you can go much quicker next time you need this mask. So this is my background, and I really love this wonky shape of it. If you perhaps know any stencils that have some kind of shape like this, I would really love to know that one, because sometimes you just don't want to use a basic circle or square and you want something wonky like this. So I really would love a stencil. So now onto the Copic coloring. So first I didn't realize that I hadn't zoomed in, but I will do it in a bit. I'm keeping the coloring really simple, some browns on the kitten, then some blacks, some greens, and that's it. So for the coloring, I am most of the time starting with my darkest color when I'm playing with Copic markers. If you perhaps have trouble with ink blending certain colors, for example, I experienced that with purples, sometimes greens, then you can also really start with the lightest color. That's something that I do then, just to have already a base coat going, and add layers afterwards. But it's totally up to you what you find most comfortable, what way the blending goes well for you. It's really personal preference and just a technique that you own yourself, that can determine which way you need to go. So for the rest of the coloring, I'm putting on some music and I will be back soon. With the coloring done, I just had to figure out a way to incorporate a sentiment, and I decided to use this "You're wicked cute" because it's an adorable sentiment, and the other one is also really great. That's "You're a treat." It's actually a really lovingly and kind stamp set, although it's Halloween, and that's also something that I really like about it. Another thing I decided to do was to stamp out this boo. I'm not good in fussy cutting, so I stamped it out twice just to have a backup, but I was lucky the first time cutting it that I didn't have to repeat it. But I decided to cut it out on the edge because with the one layer card that I'm making, nothing has that white border, so that was an easy decision for me to just trim all the way to the edge. And then something that you can do to avoid that white edge of the paper you've stamped it on, you can take a black marker and you just go all over the edges, and then it seems like black cardstock. So I'm now adhering my panel onto my card base using some permanent Pritt adhesive roller, and then I will add that glue using some thin black foam squares from scrapbook adhesives. And then this card is finished. So I really enjoyed making this card. It's actually some sort of a cast card, so clean and simple, and I really like it. I just love the cuteness of this stamp set, and I hope to make some more cards if you're interested in Halloween. Yeah, so this was my first experience and I really enjoyed it. So I hope you did too. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and I'll see you next time. Bye!